Good afternoon, guys. My name is Nicholas Jimenez. I am a student at the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, and today I'm going to be bringing you a video on how to properly execute the deadlift, right? Before I go any further, I just want to give a little disclosure. This video's sole purpose is for an assignment that I have at my university only, right? This video is not to be used in any way, shape, or form as a part of your training program for you to learn the lifts, even though I am talking about what it takes, the muscles, and things like that. Again, this is just for an assignment at my university, and this is not to be used or to be taken seriously, right? So with that being said, let's get into it. All right, so what is the deadlift? The deadlift is a weight training exercise in which a loaded bar or barbell, like the one behind me, is placed on the floor, lifted from the floor up to your hip line, perpendicular, or your torso is perpendicular with the floor, right? So you have to bring it up to your hip line, be perpendicular to the floor until you're ready to put it back down on the floor, right? Of course, keeping your form, keeping your torso tight, your back straight, and so forth, right? The deadlift should be a staple for improving overall resiliency and as well as efficiency, right? So pretty much in every training program that professional athletes have, unless it's specified not to do deadlifts, deadlifts is pretty much in almost every professional training program, right? And it doesn't just go into professional training programs, it also goes into high schools, it goes into collegiate, and so forth, you know, and even in just day-to-day gym goers, you know, or home heroes like myself. Deadlifts is one of those workouts or one of those exercises, those Olympic lifts that really utilize the whole body and really make a difference whenever you are doing ground-based lifts, such as like hang cleans, power cleans, snatches, and so forth, right? All right, so now that we know that the deadlift pretty much utilizes a lot of the muscles in the body, let's talk about the main ones that it does use, right? So the first half of the movement where you bring the barbell up from the floor to your knees will primarily be your quadriceps. Your quadriceps, they help you out like when you're squatting, they help keep you upright when you're walking throughout the day, so forth, you know. But those are the main muscles, at least from the floor up to your knees, that are engaged when you are using the deadlift, right? Another set of muscles within that range, if you really think about it, is your forearms, right? And your forearms and your triceps, your biceps, forearm muscles, all those muscles are being used throughout the entire movement because you do have to have that grip strength, that pronated grip strength, so that way you can pull up from the floor, keeping form, and so forth, right? So the second half of the movement where you're bringing the bar from the knees to a lockout position where your hips are at is primarily targeting the muscles in the lower and the mid back, as well as the glutes and the hamstrings, right? So once you pass your knees with the bar, that's when you start engaging more of the lower back muscles. That's when you start engaging more of the gluteus maximus muscles, as well as your hamstrings, your calves, and so forth, right? So you can think of it as when you're bringing it up from the floor, you're almost kind of in a squat position. So instead of having the bar placed up on your shoulders, now you have it from the floor, which is why you are using more of your arm muscles now. And then when you're bringing it up from the floor past your knees, your quads are engaged mostly, so it's kind of like that squat, I guess you can say, from the floor, just in a different position, right? Deadlift variations target either the lower or upper half range of motion, and they will engage those muscle groups to more or less of an extent depending on how you do the deadlift, right? So there are very many variations of the deadlift. So I know that there's like a normal grip, there's a normal stance, which is your feet placed just outside of your hips a little bit. I know there's even a narrower stance. There's a sumo deadlift, which is wider out and so forth. But just for the purpose of this video today, we're gonna be talking about just a normal deadlift, normal stance, and so forth, right? All right, so right now I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys a couple of clips of myself doing the deadlift. There's a couple of different clips. So there's one where I have just the regular barbell, regular 45 plate on either side, showing the setup, showing the way I should have my hands, or you should have your hands gripped onto the bar, how to lock out, things like that, right? And then the next video I will show you, it's myself doing the same lift, just with a little bit more weight, wearing a safety belt or wearing a weightlifting belt, and showing you that you should be keeping the form no matter what kind of weight you go at. And with that being said, if you know that you're gonna arch your back while you're doing the deadlift, I would say you can drop the weight a little bit. If you're trying to test your 1 rep max, I mean, awesome, go for it. But you always wanna make sure that you stay safe, because if you throw out your back, you throw out your lower back, middle back, whatever it might be, that's a pretty serious injury. Even if it's not too severe, it does take some time to recover and to come back from that, especially because your back is used as like a stabilizer, as well as your torso in many of your lifts, right, in the gym. Nonetheless, let me go ahead and show you how to do the deadlift. All right, so what you want to do first is approach the bar when it's resting on the floor. You want to place your feet hip width apart with your toes pointing forward, straight ahead. You want to keep your back flat and pull your shoulder blades together. Squat down and grab the bar, right? You're going to grab it in a pronated grip. The head remains neutral, always looking forward, right? And then there comes the lift. So weight should be shifted to the heels, and the hips should be slightly higher than the knees. Take a deep breath, fill the chest with air, and engage the core, right? So then here it is again in real time. You want to lift the bar smoothly off of the floor, just above the knees, by slowly extending the hips. Raise the bar, knees, hips, and shoulders in union with a constant neutral back, right? All right, so remember, even when lifting heavier, going for a 1 rep max or whatever it might be, you always want to keep the form the same all the way through, right? You want to lift up, keep looking forward, keep it nice, straight, neutral. Come back down to the floor, rest, and then pull again. All right, guys, so by now I'm pretty sure you've seen the video of myself deadlifting, the 2 different videos. In both of those videos, I kind of wiggle around a little bit. The reason I do that is because I am a little bit lengthier, so I have longer legs than I would say a normal person does, and my arms are a little bit longer too, so it's somewhat uncomfortable for me, and also because I'm so used to a different style of deadlift. But again, for the purpose of this video, I did want to show you guys just a normal deadlift, or a normal grip, a normal stance, and so forth, right? But again, I do bounce around a little bit in the video, but I always make sure that I go back to that neutral position, at least on my back, that my gluteus maximus is a little bit higher than my knees, right? So I'm not bending at a 90-degree angle. I'm more of, so for example, like let's say my knees are right here, my butt is right here, right? So I'm not at a 90-degree angle. I'm a little bit more, a little bit further up, at least on my backside, just so that way I can make sure I'm not throwing my back out, that I have a good neutral position to pull up from the floor, right? So again, thank you guys. I really appreciate you coming and watching the video. Just one more time before I close out, another disclosure. This video is just for an assignment for class. Please do not take this serious. Please do not use this in any of your training regimens, in any of your trainings and so forth, right? This is just a video showcasing the deadlift, so that way, or showcasing the deadlift as an assignment for my class at the university, right? So again, thank you guys for watching, and stay safe.